Give me one moment.
And this game, 10 minutes of this game.
Greatness. Greatness is yours once you claim it. I am Keystone. I'm a synthesizer of energy, frequencies, and information that generates increases of consciousness, self-awareness for those who do not know who they are or the power they possess. This is Code Red. Go inside yourself, retrace your steps, and learn to fully absolve and let go of all the hate, hurt, pain, guilt, drama, static, anything that's thriving inside of you. And allow yourself to transcend into a healthier state of being. Welcome to the introspection. You've been expecting you. Again, I'm Keystone, so today's topic is when you know, it changes the game. And that goes with many aspects of life. You go from wondering and having to believe and having hope to a position of knowing, which is gnosis, which is information. And it's widely believed that knowledge is power, but that's an incomplete statement in my book. What I foresee knowledge is the fuel. And until you apply that fuel, and which means put it into motion, giving life behind the knowledge, some energy behind it, it just remains as fuel. And so that's when your experience becomes wisdom. Wisdom is power. Knowledge is fuel. Wisdom is fueled through knowledge. Just my interpretation. You may feel differently about it. But again, you have a car. You can fill it up, full tank of gas. But until you turn the car on, turn the key, put your foot on the gas, put it in gear and, put the foot in the gas and begin traveling, what good is that gasoline going to do? That's the same thing with knowledge. You can amass a bunch of knowledge and don't do anything with it just to have it. Cool to have, good topic of conversation. But what we're doing right here at Code Red is all about action. It's about improvement. It's about going beyond and above where you currently are. If you're afraid, might as well stay away from the gas station. All right, so with today being knowledge changes the game. Again, to me, that's self-explanatory, but yeah, this one's going to be lovely for me because I'm gonna get to share a little more and talk on a variety of topics and basically hit you in the ribs a few times and leave it at that. And from what is shared with you, yeah, definitely you're more than welcome to prove me wrong, prove yourself right, or either prove yourself wrong and prove that 1% in the right direction. Either way, this shows to grab at least one person and see where it goes from there. All right, so like I said, knowing changes the game. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with religion. And I'm just going to speak. This whole thing is going to be my perspective and how I look at things, and from the amount of information and what I've researched and experienced from myself. That goes to anything that I've speak out of my mouth. It's not anything that I haven't witnessed or even gone beyond what they call a shadow of a doubt. If I'm speaking it, there's no doubt in my mind. And if there's a doubt in your mind, it's up to you to prove it or disprove it or improve it. Again, it's all on you. So with religion, I'm more than fine to say that I know that religion comes from R.E.D, which means return to binding. So that means to me that when you say you're religious, that means you are volunteering to bind yourself. There's no other way to look at it. To me, again, that's coming from the Greek. When you go to the root of words or the etymology, R.E.D, to bind, return to bind. So you're trapped, you're held. And for those that are considering themselves religious, that's fine. But I'm speaking from my perspective. And my perspective, if you are returning to bind or to be bound, where did you come from? Before you return to being bounded, that means you came from a point of freedom, sovereignty. And you volunteered to be handcuffed. That's what that means to me. And once I became aware of that, that changed the game for me. I don't need religion. I don't need another man to tell me something that I need to do or should do because that is the way that he perceived information that was given to him. So what he's looking for is a sheep. I'm not a sheep. I'm not part of the herd mind or the hive mind. I have my own mind. So to me, religion is something that, again, is beneficial. I say religion is a stepping stone for myself. I wanted to know more about me. There's no way that you can know more about you believing that something outside of you has more power or impact over you than you. That's a jacked up mindset, and that's the way we're programmed to be. Again, when it comes to good things, they want you to give all credit and all due to whoever your deity is. Whenever there's something bad or what you consider negative, they want you to take that and don't apply it to yourself. Give yourself a scapegoat. So you're running around again. You're the middleman in your own life. When are you going to jump in the steering wheel? Jump, grab the steering wheel and travel, direct where you're going. Take control. You know what I'm saying? So as long as you're feeling that everything that you do is, granted, it's a thing of honoring. You give honor, you give respect, but you don't worship. When you worship, and this is another one, this is where I was tending to go, but when you worship, worship, worship is the exact same thing as a warship, warship. When you go back to the ancient language, there were no vowels. Everything was consonants. And in my previous videos, I touched on it briefly, but combination of letters generate energy. And it, again, this is all witchcraft. Anytime you're speaking to somebody, you're casting spells upon them. Again, anytime that you're speaking, you're casting spells. Whether you accept that or not, that's on you. So you got to look at it, or you don't have to. I'm speaking for myself. When I hear somebody speaking to me, they're speaking witchcraft. So I'm going to speak my craft. If we both have great intentions for each other, there's nothing evil about it. The only time that the witchcraft or the spells become what you call bad or negative is the intent of the person that's projecting those words out of their mouth. That's it. Again, when you speak, it's witchcraft. Again, so going back to religion, not going off too far, but like I said, worship, worship, is the same as WARSHIP. So when you worship, that means you are connecting yourself to that entity or whatever it is that you're worshiping. You're giving your energy into that. That's what you're feeding. And anything that's against what you're feeding, your energy that you choose to invest yourself into by worshiping, you really is worshiping, because you done put you into this thing. Now, anybody that talks against this thing that you put yourself into is going to create war. And what a worship is a worship becomes a tool to go get energy. That's the purpose of the worship. The worship isn't there for friendly services. It's not there to be inviting. The worship is there to conquer, to take over, to rule, to suppress, to subdue. So by subduing yourself to worship something, you're worshiping with things that are not in agreement with what you're worshiping. That is something that I know. You may not know it, but it's up to you to find out. And also, again, it stems from me knowing that I am God. I didn't say I'm the creator. And I know that if I am from God, then I am God, because I am of God. If you can't accept that about yourself, that is your prerogative. You have the opportunity to learn yourself and learn your power. So again, begin to look at yourself as a God if you allow yourself to. That doesn't mean that you're creating, well, you actually are, well, anyway. Yeah. So it's a choice. If you allow somebody outside of you to tell you that you're not a God, then you can't be a God, because again, a mortal man cannot impose himself upon a God unless the God lowers himself to the level of a mortal man. That's it. So that's what's going on right now in this world today. There's a bunch of gods that are in a deep sleep that don't know they're God, and that's the only way that something beneath them can overpower them or overtake them, because the God has not awakened. The God has not accepted. The God rejects his godhood because, for whatever reason. But again, that is an option. That's a choice. So again, this is what I know. So that's a game changer for me. That changed the game. So there's nothing that you can talk to me about religiously that I'll listen to you and definitely take into account as far as the information. But you can't tell me anything that I don't know that doesn't come from me. And again, in your Bible, in your text, it says that you are son of Jesus. Excuse me, brother of Jesus. Jesus is the son of God. So if Jesus and I are brothers, then why can't I do what Jesus does or have done, or what they said he was documented that he's done? Why can't that be me? I tell you what, I guarantee if I was speaking that I feel low, so low that I'm the devil and I'm evil, I would get more hand claps in agreement with that, because it's more acceptable to accept that somebody is evil or bad or down below than that somebody feels so great about themselves and they know their power that they are put themselves on the level of a God. I mean, that's hypocritical. It's cognitive dissonance. You can't have both. You got to have one or the other. Either you're a God or you're not. That's it. Gods don't depend on mortal men. We can work in unison, but there's nothing that a mortal man can tell me that I don't know about myself, because it has to exist in my mind before it exists in my actuality or reality. So speaking to you directly, this is, again, I'm just hitting different points in perspective to not sugarcoating it. You know what I'm saying? If you have a problem accepting that you are God and you just say the Bible and the Bible tells you, so that means God's lying to you. You don't believe the Bible. If he tells you that you can do what he does and better and beyond, and you don't feel that you can do that, you're calling him a liar. You don't have the faith that you think you have. What you do is you have faith in that gentleman or that lady standing at the podium collecting your money every Sunday. That's what it is. Like I said, anytime in the Bible that I see God or Jesus, that's me. You may not accept it as that. You may expect, something that's outside of you, this, whatever you want to refer to it as, that's your perspective. That's how you know what I'm saying, you accept that. I don't. Once again, this is me, this is my journey, this my journal I'm sharing with you. And to get to this point, there's so many things that I had to accept as straight BS, part of programming, because by accepting that there's something outside of me that controls me, that means that whatever's inside of me is second and third dairy, and it doesn't matter. So there's nothing that I do under my own will by me thinking about it. You're telling me that there's something outside of me that's controlling that. That's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But again, that's where I evolved to be able to accept that, because I witnessed that in my life. And when I shared how low I was, again, I was so low beneath the ground that I was watching the Beatles walk. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at the footsteps of Beatles. So that's how low. And what I attained was not at the hands of Jesus Christ or praying to God. It's believing in myself, learning myself, knowing myself, improving myself, and loving myself. Now, that's what I exude. I'm not exuding words of another man that's telling me that this is the way it is, and I need to accept that if I'm going to be part of this particular group or this church or religion or whatever. That's the problem. Again, when I learned that if you want to be, I guess, successful or anything, you do the exact opposite of the crowd. The majority of everybody goes in a church house on a Sunday and sit and listen to somebody speak. They're feeling good. They get out of that church house, so that high lasts for about an hour to 2 to 3 or 4 of that day. Then what happens to Monday and Tuesday? They have the regular, the day-to-day where they're cussing, drinking, smoking, women or men or whatever they choose to do. So you're told that you live under grace, you're not under the law. That's man-made. That grace lie, that comes from man. Nature has laws. Nature doesn't have grace. It may be a grace period if you want to tie grace to nature. You may have a grace period, but grace will never, ever, 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 ever override the law. So grace is going to, mental grace is all going to override your mind, your mental, what you're thinking, what you know, what you don't know, what you can do, your wishes, your dreams. Like you said, you got to be able to question these things. Stop being scared to question. If it sounds like shit, if it smells like it, then do you need to taste it to verify that it is? I didn't. I could, I know to stay away from that. But I'm at that point in life and beyond. So it's, to each his own. But again, I'm just sharing. Then what I want to talk about then, as far as the government, the government. govern, meant to govern something is to control, to monitor, to constrict it to operate within the confines of whatever we're going to allow it to do. And ment, M-E-N-T, is mental. Mind control, control your mind. It's self-explanatory. I mean, what else needs to be said about the government? I mean, look at the whole process. Again, number one, law is mental. I mean, everything is mental. Everything. That's rule number one. Number two, everything is energy. Once you can accept that everything and look and weigh things out by the energy that's created or not created or generated, you will look at things in a total different way. It's impossible not to. Again, government is to control your mind. Your mind receives information from the universe, from the ether. Your mind processes it, enters it into your brain, and then depending on your perspective or whatever you desire yourself to do or how you respond, you act accordingly with that information. But if you don't control your mind, it's a group of people that you vote for that you're basically giving them the good gosh, you're giving them authorization. You know what I'm saying? So power of attorney, excuse me, that's what I was searching for. So you're giving them the power of attorney over your mind. How silly does that sound when you hear it spoken to you like that? You're going to argue with people about who's the better person to rule over you? That's damn silly. I want him to rule over me. I want him to rule over me. You're going to fight for who's going to rule over you. Think about that. Why can't you rule over yourself? The reason why you can't rule over yourself because you don't even know that's an option. Because all your life you've been programmed to think that there's somebody that's authority over you. And the author is meaning it's automatic. You know what I'm saying? Somebody you're given authority. That's silly. But if you don't know any better, then you're going to go with it. It's going to be normal because that's just what everybody else does. And when you're part of the hive or the herd, all the herd is bowing down. So you're like, damn, okay, shit, everybody's bowing down, so I'm going to bow down too. I don't want to be the one standing up. They're going to look at me funny. How silly does that sound? You're afraid to think on your own because you're afraid of being ostracized or cast out by people who don't know themselves. Like I said, anybody I deal with on whatever level, that's just me. You're not going to have me feeling like I need to be a 2-year-old to handle or deal with you or interact with you or exchange information. I'm going to speak how I speak, and how you receive it or how you interpret it, it's up to you. If you need clarity, then speak on it. If you don't comprehend, speak on it. Ask questions. That's the problem. There's everybody running around, getting kicked in the booty and having to, people point out their duty. That has to stop. When are you going to question? If it doesn't make sense, what's wrong with asking a question? What's wrong with asking for clarity? What he said, it is going to come to me, but it's coming from a show or something. But it's mind-boggling that this selection process, again, everything is a still energy. So to tie this whole election process to energy, when you vote, VOTE, again, vote. Remember, there are no vowels when you go to ancient language. So whatever language you're going to Greek, Sumerian, or just different, whatever, but vote, VOTE is the same as VOLT. Vote and vote. If you don't see it written, I guarantee you won't know which one I'm speaking on. So again, all of this is hidden within the words. The words are not given to you for your benefit. The words are given to you for their benefit. You don't know what you're speaking on. You're using these words every day, compounding effect. And again, your subconscious mind is a big open receptacle of information. So it takes all information in, doesn't care where it comes from. It doesn't have a choice. It has to take it. You can't stop it. You may think you can, but that's just how delusional you're being. That's self-inflicted. So you're voting. So you vote. So now you take this vote, which is energy. You go to a poll. They tell you POLL, but a POLE attracts energy. If it's thundering and lightning outside, I guarantee none of you will go outside with a metal pole and hold it up above your head. I guarantee that. Because, that's going to pull energy. So you got to look at this as a voting station. That's what a voting station is, a power station. So you're taking yourself voluntarily after you register, meaning you're signing yourself over to the king, Regis, R.E.D, crown, royalty. So whenever you register something, you're handing it over to the king. So your voter registration card. So now you're asking the king, can you partake in this bullshit game? And that you promised to go by the results of this game that you voluntarily said that you would partake in. You got to look at things at what it is. Take your emotions out of anything that I've talked about, minutes before, and anything that I'm going to speak about after this. As long as your emotions are attached, that keeps you stationary. You got to realize that everything that's done is to keep you stationary, keep you right there. If you're not growing, you're molding, which is dying. If you're not expanding, you're contracting. Again, polarity, law, natural laws. You know what I'm saying? You got a cause and an effect. So again, your VOTE is a VOLT, a unit of power. Now you take your unit of power, you're going to the pole. The pole doesn't have to come to you. You're going to that voluntarily. Now you're casting your vote, meaning you're sending it out. The movies that you like to see, that's you. Now think of that. They done made something that you could do spiritually or etherically but they made it a physical process. So your vote, your energy, they put it in the form of a paper. Now you're going to this poll, which is in the form of a box or a booth. Now you're casting it. So now you're taking your energy and you sending it to them. So whoever you voted for or voting for, you're sending your energy to that entity. Again, this is a total different spin that I guarantee that you've heard on voting. But this is what it is. This government is here to control your mind. They're controlling your mind by controlling how you think and what you do. In essence, they're controlling your energy. You have no control of your energy. They siphon your energy at will. That's what it is. And can't decode that. Like I said, I'm just gonna speak on it from my perspective. I'm not gonna go too deep, but just to give and just gonna give you what it is to a degree. And like I said, I'm hit you in the ribs, and these are rib shots, and hopefully it does make you feel uncomfortable or comfortable enough that you want to feel comfortable. So by you wanting to feel comfortable, you're going to do some research on your own. Then you have the choice to accept it or reject it. But again, it all goes to you. So again, the original purpose of the government, at least in this country, is supposed to be to protect your shores, your property, and your person. That's it. All this other stuff, by people not knowing, again, there's that word, by not knowing, they have things put upon them. And as far as you know, this is correct because you don't know any better or any different. And when something better or different as far as the form of information comes around, you reject it because it's total opposite of what you are emotionally attached to. Whenever your emotions are attached to stuff, it's a wrap. And I'm not saying you go around and be heartless or whatever. I'm saying unnecessary emotions, and you have to be able to control. Again, emotions is energy. Energy and motion. That's what an emotion is. Energy and motion. Emotion. Think of that. Your energy and motion. So you want to tie your energy, instead of your energy being emotion, your energy being emotion, you want to attach it into this stationary thing and stay. How are you going to grow? When are you going to grow? Is it possible? Hey, anything's possible if you put your mind to it. But if you're going to put your mind into growing while you're stationary, why don't you release yourself and grow? That's what it is. How you going to, why would you do that to yourself? Why are you going to anchor yourself to something and expect to grow and benefit? That's backwards. So within the government, or what's going on right now, the way it's structured and the way it's situated and the way life is that you're handing yourself over. And the way that you're handing yourself over is, it's clever. I definitely am not speaking out in opposition of what it is, because everybody has their own free will. The thing is do you desire to know better, or be better, or do better? So if you don't desire to do better, or even to know better, improve, enhance yourself, then I can't attach myself to you not desiring to be better yourself. That doesn't make sense to me anymore. And that's what we go through life as, going around and, oh man, they did this. Granted, what I'm saying? You can't help nobody till you help yourself. I shared this before, and everybody knows when you're in the front of the airplane, the lady or the stewardess or steward or whatever they call the male stewardess, steward, they give their demonstration. When they get to the oxygen mask, they tell you, number one, put your mask on first before you help anybody else. Put your mask on first before you help anybody else. But the way that we're programmed and trained and we're conditioned through church, help your fellow man, help your fellow man. Granted, I'm never saying don't help your fellow man, but you can't help him more than you can help yourself until you help yourself first. I can help assist, but once it's going to require me to put more energy into you than I am putting into myself, hey, I can do this so much. I'm not going to do that until I'm sure that I am well in a position to be able to assist you, because what will end up happening is rather than one person being hurt, it's going to be two people being hurt, being me included, because I jumped in before I was prepared. So now with the government, and the reason why you're handing yourself over is that it's designed like this. It didn't get to this point by accident, but again, by not knowing is the way that it allowed this to happen. By you living outside of you rather than inside of you, you did not notice that the stuff that's being given to you doesn't make sense in no stretch of the imagination when you compare it to nature. We're put here for a specific reason, which is to be of service. And again, we are here. Man is here to be explorers. We are here to discover. We're not here to conquer. That's what man puts himself in. Man said he's going to conquer, but natural, we're here to discover. That's truly what it is. We're here to be of service. So if I have something which I do that I know that's going to assist somebody, it is my duty to share. So I am acting in according to the laws of nature. I am assisting. I am presenting. I am giving information. I'm giving energy to those that are able to receive it and utilize it. If right now what I'm speaking on is the first time you're hearing it, that's fine. But this is energy towards you. And what you do with that energy, all it depends on you and your perspective. If your perspective is skewed, then you're going to perceive my information as skewed. If your perspective is along the line of you want to improve, you want to evolve, and you notice and you're not in denial about stuff being jacked up, then this information would be beneficial to you. I mean, anything that's spoken about, you don't try to attempt to chomp it all at one big go, one big bite. Take your little snippets, and it'll increase. So the more that you bite at it, then eventually you'll be taking bigger chunks to where then you'll be able to consume it. Then once you consume it, you're going to be able to put it within you, and then you're going to be able to share it yourself. That's what happens. But it is a choice. You know what I'm saying? You could power yourself up and go sit on it, but that knowledge is no longer power. It's going to be mode. And mode, if you want to be technical, mode can be power and energy, but not for the sake of this conversation. So with the government, we have how you're being fooled or urged or directed to hand yourself over is by going against natural law. That's the true Antichrist. The Antichrist is us fully activated mind, what they call Christ consciousness, or you could say full consciousness or total brain activation is what I like to refer to it as. So you can only achieve that when you're one with nature. When you remove yourself from nature, then that's when you get into the situation that we are in now. You're born free. You're born sovereign. You have born rights. You are born free. All the rest is volunteer. So when you're in one with nature, you're sovereign. You have nobody ruling over you. Everything is yourself. If you were happen to appear in the middle of some piece of land, and you're going to figure it out on your own by observing nature naturally. You're not going to be wondering like, damn, where's the book at? I need to take a class. I need a course. Where's the reverend? I need to pray. You need this and need that. No, those are man-made crutches. Again, if you were dropped off in the middle of a field somewhere and you had natural resources, you're going to eventually figure it out. That's what we're here to do. You know what I'm saying? You're going to say, well, I'm getting wet. Well, shoot, I don't like getting wet, so I'm going to need to do something or go somewhere where I can't get, I'm covered by the rain or the moisture. Man, it's hot. Well, I need to cool myself off. Eventually, if I get in this water, you're going to figure it out. And so what has happened is that things that the way that it was taught in the ancient days, going back to Egypt or Kemet, Abu-Galan, it'll come back to me, but they're called mystery schools. And so this stuff is looked at as mysteries, which is another name for nature, mystery, mist, going back to water, but that's on a whole nother level. So these were the mystery schools. You're learning about yourself. You're learning about the universe. You're learning about the true gods of the earth, which are fire, water, air, and fire, water, air. Yeah, it's gonna pop for me. I'm just going. Like I said, I told my producer to punch me in the booth, and I jumped in, so I'm spitting. So here it is. So fire, air, water, and right, whatever, it's gonna come to me. But once you in with nature, that's what it is. And so what has happened is that man has removed himself from nature. So man has created artificial areas called cities. But before we even get to the city, so what has happened is that things that was done naturally, man is relying upon another man. So nature gave us rights. Man gives us privileges. Big difference. You were born with the right to travel about. Man gave you a driver's license. Nature gave us fruits and herbs. Man gave us vaccinations, medication, pharmacy. Even going with pharmacy, you go to the Greek word pharmakeia. It's witchcraft. It's sorcery. It's poison. Again, you can. They could have called it anything else. They didn't have to call it pharmacy. I mean, true or not. But when you know where the word came from, how can they say something different? Like, oops, it was on accident. We had no idea that this meant sorcery and witchcraft and poison. We had no clue. That, come on. They know everything that they do is intentional, and they have to let you know so they don't create a karmic debt. Meaning that they're not putting themselves in a position where everybody say karma's going to catch up to you. No, they're telling you. So they're not going to suffer a karmic debt. It's up to you to take that information, do what you will. So to them, they're guilt-free. You know what I'm saying? You're the one with the emotions. They're not. They're guilt-free. They said what they're going to do, and they're doing what they said. So in the eyes of the universe, what are they doing wrong? You, on the other hand, are accepting what they're saying, and you're not doing anything to better your situation. So who's moving along the course of nature? You know what I'm saying? So these are just truths that I'm expressing again. That's rib shots. It's all on you. You're accepting what they're saying, and you're not believing it when they're telling it to you. You know, like they say, when somebody shows you who they are the first time, please believe them. When somebody shows you who they are the first time, please believe them. Again, this is something that we do ourselves. We get delusional and we think we're going to change things or put another spin on it, but that's where the ability to discern things come about. Get your information, discern it, run it through your head or whatever your process is, and trash what you don't need and keep what's going to be beneficial to you. So again, man was born free, but man voluntarily gave his freedom to a man in exchange for privileges. When you give them privileges, they can be taken. When you're given liberties, they can be taken. So the sleight of hand. So anything that you sign official for the government or anything, you're signing over freedom. You're signing over sovereignty. What you're doing is accepting their rules for their privileges. But when you know the difference between rights and privileges, nature and man-made, like I said, nature creates, man imitates. That can't be disproven. Anything that man is going to do to improve man is going to be an imitation. He's going to add his technology, which is computer, microchip, that poison in your body. You know what I'm saying? It's all going to be imitation. Multivitamins are not the same as you going out and you picking vitamins that are meaning coming from vegetables and fruit. It's not the same thing. You know, I remember in high school, which I thought I didn't understand the full impact of what we did, but I remember in my science class, the teacher had soaked some, I think it was Total, was the cereal, and soaked it in water and had a magnet at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? So it was in a glass beaker or glass, whatever it was, and what was going on is that as the fibers of the flake was loosening up, it was releasing the iron that was inside of it, and at the bottom of the glass, we got to see the iron from the flakes being attracted to the magnet. And at the time, I didn't know the difference. I was like, oh man, you know, it says it had iron or iron fortified. I didn't know what the hell that meant. Just, oh, they put iron in it. So, oh damn, they put real iron. I didn't, you know what I'm saying? Didn't know. But then where I am now, to see that or to think about that is like, oh my gosh, they're putting slivers of damn iron, metal That's not the iron from nature that we consume. That's man's version of iron. So imagine all the cereal and stuff, again, nanobots, nanotechnology. You need to research it. You truly do. Well, you don't need to. It'll be beneficial to yourself. But the thing is, I know people don't like to research that because they're going to have to open their eyes and accept that a whole lot of this bullshit that they're accepting is strictly what it is. BS. So yeah, so that's just one thing. So again, so by you being asking them to provide food for you, you got to accept you're going to eat what they give you. No, you find out later, oh, this had this in it and this had that in it. All they're gonna do is shrug their shoulders. Well, you could have got your own food. You didn't have to eat what we gave you. No, you came to us. You came and signed a contract that said you need my help. Okay, so this is the best I'm gonna give you. So if you want better, you get better and you do better. So it all goes back to you. So again, learn the difference of rights and privileges. Rights and privileges. Rights you were born with, privileges you're given by man, and they can be taken away. Any and everything that man gives you, it comes at a cost. And right now, in this time and age, if you haven't acknowledged or realized or accepted, it's costing freedom. It's costing sovereignty. So everything that they're giving you now, they're give it up. Give me some more. Give me some more. You know what I'm saying? After September in 2001, the 11th day, they took their mask off. They were slowly taking their mask off, and now they taking their mask off and making you put one on. Think of that. They're taking their mask off and they're making you put one on. And these people are showing you who they are, but they got you so afraid to look at things objectively and subjectively that you just sitting there in fear, absorbing and sucking all this up. So yeah, you got to make a choice. You know, are you worth it? If you're not worth it, are your loved ones worth it? Somebody around you has to be worth you improving yourself. If it's not you, then damn. that's a serious situation to be in. But that's major. You got to love yourself enough to improve. You're in a situation where you feel you can't improve. It's only that way because it's in your mind. Again, all is mental. What did can't remember who it was, but they said, you know, whether you say you can or you can't, you're right. Did you hear that? Whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. That's law right there. You can't get no better than that. Now, health. Right now, I'm dealing with health. It's a situation where people are so far removed from nature and themselves that they rely upon somebody else. I mean, you get a sniffle, the first thing you're doing, you run into the emergency room. Somebody fall and they bump their knee, you go into the emergency room. They scrape their elbow, you go into the emergency room. When did that happen? When did that happen? I come from the generation, I'm not going to say I came from the generation that said rub dirt on it, but I know to run some water on it. Don't come in the house crying, because I come in the house crying, I'm in the house for the rest of the day. And, you know, that's the generation I come from. Now, I'm not going to stigmatize and call kids, you know, whatever, you know, I hear people refer to them as, but it's definitely a distinct difference in between the toughness, more or less, than what the kids have now. You know, kids are definitely babyfied, and it's reflective on everything. But you know, going back to health, yeah, I mean, your kid bleeds, and you know, I learned, you know, children are going to react and respond off of your reaction and response to whatever they do. So at a very early age, you know, again, not even comprehending the full scope or realm of what I'm speaking on now, where my mind is now, but I knew that whenever, when I noticed that a child does not cry when it falls until he sees you in panic. Once you're in panic and you're reacting, and oh my gosh, the baby, oh shoot, that's my cue. Let me go ahead and drop these tears on him. So what myself and, you know, I grew up with all brothers. If I had a sister, she probably would act like a brother as well, but all brothers. And so that's something, you know, like I said, the generation I come from. So you fall down, we laughed at you, which is the child, but if that's clearly with the child not being hurt, not saying the child leg get broke and snapped in half, we're laughing. No, that's something totally different. But if the child is running in the grass and you fell in the grass, what the hell, man? You better stop crying. You get yourself up and keep playing or go in the house. Sit with the ladies. You know, you can be offended by that. I don't care. That's what it is. I mean, I can look at, oh, you're hard on children. You're hard on children. I'm not hard on children. I'm a male. I'm a man. So the baby's around, the child's around you, he's around feminine energy all the time. So yeah, he needs some masculine energy to balance it out. And if he falls down, like I said, if he's not hurt, where's the harm? You know, they're wrestling, they're fighting. Let them go for what they know. If he want to climb that tree and fall out that tree, that's on him. I guarantee he'll learn not to get in that tree again. So the more that you yell at him and save him from doing it, sure, he's gonna do it eventually. And then when he falls out, then what? You know, you can't be there all the time. You gotta let him explore. Again, we're explorers. We're here to explore. If we don't explore, if we don't go find out, we'll never know. So that's again circling them right back around. What's going on with man? We live vicariously through somebody else. That's the way we're programmed. You know, don't have your experience. Shoot, just watch him do it, and then consider you doing it by watching him do it. That's silly to me. You know, it may make sense to other people, but you know, that's on you. So, dealing with health. I'm sure what I speak about, you know, some may agree, some don't. I don't give a damn because it's coming from my mind. You have your own mind to make up your own, you know, make up your own mind. So what I do know is that what's going on right now is all based off of media. You know what I'm saying? Hive mind and herd mind. That's, you know, people following people without questioning. You know, it's basically like, you know, back in the day, you know, well, when a party or something and the crowd takes off running, yeah, I ain't gonna, you know, I ain't gonna stick around to see what's jumping off. You know, let me get to safety, then I'm gonna turn around. So pretty much that's what's going on with society, not in the aspect of it being a party, but with life. You know, somebody's doing something and everybody's doing it. So you have the opportunity to step back if you choose to and, you know, look at the situation and assess it for what's best for you. And then make a decision whether that works what the crowd is doing or not. So again, I learned early that if you want a better chance or opportunity of surviving, do the exact opposite of what the news tell you or the government tells you. When I first started hearing that, it, you know, sounded weird, like what? But then when you think about it, well, damn, they are telling you something for a reason. So going back to when they went from analog signal to digital, I knew that was some BS because why would the government care that you were able to receive the signal? They're telling you all this stupidness. Oh yeah, just make sure that you don't get uninterrupted. But what I knew then is that no, what they're doing is make sure they can control everything with one damn button. Instead of going out to everybody's house individually and breaking their antennas, no, now that it's digital, I can control you or whatever you're doing from this seat right here. That's the purpose of it going digital, not so you can have a clear screen and all this stuff. Because if you notice, you still get interruptions. Everything, you know what I'm saying? You still got the same stuff going on. So the government is telling you things to benefit them, not to benefit you, but they're presenting it to you for your benefit. And if you're a sucker, you're sucking it up with your straw. And that's what it is. So health, with them telling you in front of you to get in front of the TV again. When I was coming up in the 80s, all I knew about AIDS is it was AIDS. You know, it was deadly. You're going to die. You know what I'm saying? Somebody touch you with it. You got AIDS on your arm or your elbow, you know what I'm saying? Or your backpack. So now you don't want to touch that book because, you know, that person got AIDS. I mean, but I'm making light of it because to me, there's so many adults that had that same mind that I had when I was in 3rd and 4th grade as a child in elementary school, hearing about AIDS and the way that AIDS, you know, not even shit, I'm in 3rd and 4th grade. So why do I need to investigate AIDS? But now there's people that came from the same generation as myself that listening to these people on the news and taking it as law and haven't even cracked open a book to see what a virus truly does, the characteristics of a virus or any virus of that fact. You know, how long can a virus exist outside of a body? You know what I'm saying? These are questions. And you know what I'm saying? So you're walking around with a mask on, but like I said, as I shared before, your body needs oxygen, your body needs water outside of other things, but your body truly oxygen and water. That's what your body needs. And so granted you're getting your water, but by you not comprehending the full effect of what oxygen does for your body, it's easy to be susceptible to the bullshit that they're telling you. Cover your mouth and nose all day and breathe hard and so on and so forth. So again, the ebb and flow of us and nature, we inhale oxygen and we exhale carbon dioxide. We inhale oxygen, we exhale carbon dioxide. Trees, I don't know if they breathe or whatever, but trees take in the carbon dioxide and they spit out oxygen. So now, with you covering your nose, you're being stingy to the trees. You're not allowing the trees to feed off of what's supposed to be your waste. You're not allowing them to do their purpose up here on being on this earth. Again, I know my purpose is to be of service and to provide others to improve or enhance themselves if they choose to. The trees are put here to purify our air. Man didn't design that system. Man has attempted to create it, imitate it, but nature provided that system for us. So now by you covering your mouth and nose, you're not getting rid of your bodily waste, which is your carbon dioxide. You're recycling your carbon dioxide. So now again, as I shared, your body's adaptable. You truly have the true depth of your body being built to be, or you being eternal. So your body will adapt and it will work on what's given to it and make the best out of whatever you give it. But the thing is that once it breaks down, it's broken down, and it's going to break down because you're not treating it right. So by you not letting your carbon dioxide leave and get out in the atmosphere, you're keeping it filtered. Now, once you breathe it out, you're breathing it back in. You're breathing it out and breathing it back in. So now you got to look at you're taking in your bodily waste. So being you taking that breath in through your nose or your mouth, it's got to go through your lungs, which is a filter, your filtration system. So now you're sticking deposits of waste back into your lungs. And that's going to accumulate and that's going to build up. It's going to take over the pores of your lungs. And after a while, again, how much oxygen are you going to be able to get now that you got all this stuff built into you? So what that's going to end up being is mucus. And again, the way it was broke down to me is only one disease, and that's mucus. You know, whether it's mucus in your lungs, mucus in your throat, mucus in your hip, mucus in, wherever. It's mucus, which is blocking oxygen or blood flow, so it's going to die. So that mucus sits there, and that's what it is. So now you got mucus built up in your lungs. Whoa, is that going to be, what they call it, pneumonia? Come on, people. And I had high school graduation, a couple of semesters of junior college. But what I'm speaking is what I attained, is what I didn't even say this is what I wanted to do. I said I want the truth, and this is coming to me. So the same way that everybody with the medical degrees they learn from a damn book. So what's the reason why I can't do the same thing and then assess myself and make a decision on me about, what's best for me? Why do I need to listen to a person in a white coat? Well, number one, I don't know where you got that white coat from. You know what I'm saying? It could be a veterinarian coat. You got a name tag, you got some initials behind your name. That doesn't mean anything to me. You know what I'm saying? So I take information gladly. I appreciate it, but I'm going to weigh it out to what I feel is right, weigh it out with nature, and I'm going to make a decision. So I'm more than capable to say that I don't need to cover my mouth and nose, because I'm not going to allow somebody else to cough in my mouth. I'm not going to allow somebody to spit loogies on me. You know what I'm saying? So for those, granted, if you choose to walk around scared and afraid, by all means. But no, that mask up, unless I'm about to do a robbery or something, but I see no purpose in it. You know what I'm saying? It's what? It's not stopping anything. They said they said it. Fauci said it's only for this, but then they got at him, and so he came back and gave another statement. And y'all act like y'all forgot that because they overrode you with so much more information on the narrative that they want you to keep in mind and to follow. All this stuff is for is compliance, as I shared on my show last night. Real quickly, to over 2,000 years ago, they discovered when you cover your mouth and nose, that makes you submissive, that makes you lose your individuality. And like you said, this is all this is. It's about compliance. They're going to wear you down to where you're going to do everything they want you to do for you to get back to quote unquote normal. But please understand that things are not going back to normal, what you consider normal. If you're going to live anything like you thought you were living before, it's going to be under their rules. You can't go to concerts unless we squeezing something in you, or we're going to scan an infrared beam into your head. And no, it's not going to be any, there's no danger. How do you know? How long have y'all been researching it? You know what I'm saying? How is that going to affect your cells, your glands, your blood, anything? You know, repeat it. And again, I came from silk screening. And silk screening, when you put your ink on your shirt and you dry it, you use an infrared dryer because of the heat. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that the gun that they shooting you is as hot as the temperature to dry the ink on the shirt, but it's heat. Infrared is, come on, people. Ask questions. If you don't want, you know what I'm saying, let them know. Okay, you could get an even more accurate reading if you shoot it on my wrist, or I think it's somewhere in the elbow region in the arm. You could get so why do you need to shoot me in the head? Think about it, people. Come on. Think about it. Even if it hurts, think about it. So, yeah, it's like I said, I'm just going to speak on a couple of things and hit them like I want to, but I'm not going to go too far in depth. But this is what you need to hear, what I'm sharing. And if you feel uneasy, that's fine. Come back to it later when you feel you're mature enough to handle what's really going on. You know, get out of that, you know, everything's going to go back to where it was again. By being out of touch with nature, these people understand we're in the age of Aquarius, which means the age of information. Everything is going to be exposed and shown. So what they're doing, they're getting out in front of the game. They're getting out in front of you, and they're attempting to control the narrative and your mind. They don't want you to open your mind up to truly find out who you are. So stay your ass in the house. Even in your house, put on this damn mask and look at this TV and listen to what we want you to know. This is what we want you to think. Anybody that's saying anything remotely close to what I'm saying to you, yeah, shut him down. You know, tell him that he's dangerous. He's not a patriot. What the fuck? Anyway, so when it comes to health, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I can observe myself and I can make a decision on myself. If I feel that it's out of my realm, then yeah, I will go to somebody that will be more beneficial, but that's for something that's out of my capacity. That's like we're working on a vehicle. You know what I'm saying? I could change my oil, change the alternator, change the belt, you know, tires, so on and so forth. But if it's dealing with the transmission or directly on the engine, I know how to step back. I'm going to go to the mechanic. Hey, do you do? But I'm not going to the mechanic because my windshield wiper rubber is scratched, you know, is wearing down. I'm not going to pay somebody $50 to change my windshield wipers. That's silly. So that's how I look at the emergency room and people not using alcohol or peroxide. You know what I'm saying? Your kid get hit. I mean, it's sick. Like but that's the way it's designed. You know what I'm saying? It's to do that. So another thing is money. So what we know as money is not money, it's currency. And again, going back to, not even going back, just expressing everything is energy. Money is currency, and currency is energy in motion. So I share. You make $10, and so you know everybody says that they have a belief in the way they put it at everybody, and people repeat it. So it's definitely how they feel within themselves. Everybody feels that time is money. I used to believe that. I used to feel that time is money. So that means every time the clock is ticking, there's money, you know, so on and so forth. Granted, sounds good, but you got to look at it on a whole deeper scale. Time is not money, time is energy. So people are like, what do you mean? Time is energy. You know, whether it's used or not, time is energy. That's all it is. So if you work at a job that makes $10 an hour and you worked 10 hours, at the end of that day, you expect to get $100 for compensation for what you've done for that job. So when you go to get your check or whatever you're going to get at the end of that workday, you're expecting $100. So now, if they do not have that $100 for you, how is time money? Again, 10 hours, $10 an hour, end of that day, you're supposed to get $100. You go to get your $100, they don't have your $100. So then how can you fully still believe that time is money? It's not. It's energy. So you done spent, I'm going to say spent because it's not coming back to you, 10 hours worth of energy that you were pimping yourself out for $10 an hour. And I say pimping yourself out because that's truly what a job is. When it is, and for whatever reason, but that's what it is. And you can feel how you feel about what I'm speaking on, but I'm expressing how I feel about it. I went through pimping myself out. I'm going to give you all of my potential for this minuscule amount of compensation. And I know with the duties that I'm doing, you're making damn near 100 times what you're paying me off of my efforts. How much longer are you going to go through that? You know what I'm saying? Before you decide to do something different. Okay, if you're going to pimp yourself out, then pimp yourself out for more. Don't belittle yourself to get ridiculed and talked down upon at something that's not even potentially your best potential. You know what I'm saying? So if you're in a situation where you say you have to work, granted, it's cool. I mean, I'm not knocking you. This is what it is. No judgment, but this is what it is. It's nothing else. So again, a job is just a bribe for you to forget your dreams. Again, a job is a bribe for you to forget your dreams, meaning we're going to pay you to give up on yourself. Don't worry about the dreams you had. Don't worry about the aspirations that what you could do or possibly do. Don't worry about that. We're gonna make it easy for you. We don't want you to have to go through the hard work of doing something for yourself. Come over here and do it for us at an extreme discount. That's what it is. And until you can accept that, then you're gonna continue getting pimped. You know what I'm saying? Just like on Boomerang. Don't never whip that. But yeah, you have to decide on what side of the spectrum you want to be on. I'm saying you want to be on the employee side or you want to be employer or a boss or whatever. But as long as you're at a job, you will never, ever, ever, ever make more than the boss. It's designed that way. You know what I'm saying? Again, you're going to get your raise. They're going to give you a 30-cent raise. You're getting a couple of dollars extra a check over, the however many months. And that's a slap in the face. You know what I'm saying? You're getting 40-cent raise, but last night before the day they told you got that raise, gas jumped up $2. Gas jumped up $2 overnight, but you got a 40-cent raise today. So come on. Again, it's on you, to lend them. That means your talent. That means your gift, what you have. That's what you sustain yourself with. That's why you're giving that. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're supposed to provide for yourself and your family or whatever, off of your talents, your skills. But the thing is you were beat out of your skills and your dreams. They stomped the fire out. It's time to rekindle that. Find out who you are, what you like to do, don't focus on what you don't like to do. Focus on everything you want to do. When you focus on everything you want to do, what you don't want to do disappears. Listen to that. Do not focus on what you don't want to do. Focus on what you want to do. You're going to focus so much on what you want to do, it's going to grow so big that what you don't want to do is going to disappear. Believe that. Excuse me. Know that. Game changer. Only think and talk about what you want. Again, for those that's known me over the years, me going through my process, I've never, ever stopped talking business. Never, ever, ever. Improvement. Information. Never, ever took a break from it. Those don't like speaking to me because of that, that's fine. This is me. Again, I have on my oxygen mask right now. So yeah, just going. But again, so money, there's energy. So that 10 hours that you put in expecting $100 didn't come to you in the form of compensation or currency. So what is it? So time can't be money. So what it is, currency is a certificate or representation of money or energy. That's what it is. It's a representation. So for every block of whatever your compensation is for the amount of work or energy that you give to this company or this business for these 8 hours, this is what we're going to give you. So here's your coupon. 8 more hours, here's another coupon. Here's another coupon. Now you can take those coupons and do what you will at places that accept those coupons. So with this being currency and not money, so basically, again, there is no money in this country. There is no money. You can ooh and ah and jerk your head and roll your eyes. Hopefully you don't get dizzy and pass out or fall down. There is no money. The money was taken in 1933 when they confiscated the gold. So money is something of value that requires manpower or man energy to get. To whether it be gold, silver, platinum, oil, something of substance that comes from the earth, the resource. That's what money is. The stuff that's in your pocket. This is the money. This is currency. This paper. If I was to take this to a country that doesn't take dollars, I can't get no goods. They're going to laugh at me. They're probably going to wipe their butt with it or try to beat me up or kill me or whatever because I'm attempting to defraud them. But that's all it is. It's paper. Now, if I was to take a nugget of gold, I could go to any country, any city, any town that in this world, and depending on the exchange rate, we're going to be able to do business. But I can only do business with these that at plantations that accept that as payment or exchange. And then also within money, them being no money, it's all currency. This society or this economy is a debt-based society. Excuse me. Everything is based off of credits and debits. Credits and debits. There is no money. You talk as though you are doing business and money, but everything is debits and credits. You can't pay off nothing unless it's with money. It's in the Constitution. Like I said, I'm not going to go there, but debts has to be paid and settled with money. So with there being no money, they had to be discharged or credits. There is no money because there is nothing backing the currency. But what is backing the currency, I'm not going to get into that, but guaranteed, if you can't accept that there is no money and there is no gold, no gold standard, Fort Knox and all that stuff is just sidetrack stuff. I mean, I learned that later on, but I know Fort Knox been not having gold, or at least gold specifically for the people. So I'm not going to say it's empty or to claim to know how much of it is there, but Fort Knox is what we were told it was if there is gold actually there. So again, this is currency. This is coupon. These are coupons for your energy, what you invested into whatever to get the coupons, whatever you exchange, the coupons. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? You can feel and so as I learned that, I think back not even all, but the things that I used to do when I was younger, chasing this. You know what I'm saying? Risking life, risking jail, risking relationships, anything to chase that. And now to find out that it's worthless. The only thing that gives what they call dollar value, it's called fiat currency. FIAT currency. The only thing that gives this, the only reason why this has value, the reason why this is $2 and it has value as $2 is because you believe it. If you didn't believe that was worth anything, then it wouldn't be worth anything. So you give the value. So all this is designed to make you the fool. They're snatching all the gold and the resources, and you're running around chasing coupons. You know, coupon chasers. You know, ain't no money chasers. You know, coupon chasers. So, you know what I'm saying? That's just the reality. Then with that being said, the world is business. Simply nothing else. Straight business. This is a mercantile economy. The government, everything is set up business. Like I said, for those who do not know, just to drop it to you, understand that the law of the land is actually the law of the sea. It's called the Universal Commercial Code. You need to check it out. Whether you believe me or not, I don't give a damn. I'm sharing my information, what I've come across. Universal Commercial Code. That's the law of the land. It's all mercantile. The law of the sea is on the land. And like I said, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but understand, at least put your eyes on it. And again, prove yourself right. Prove yourself that what I'm talking about is full of shit. Right, prove yourself right. I dare you to prove yourself right, if you choose. So, like I said, the world is business, so everything is business. Look at everything. All the legislator, everything is done for business. You know what I'm saying? If they're going to impose a trade embargo on the country because they want to impact them economically. So if the if attacking them economically don't work, then we bring in the hitman, which is the United States government. The military. The military guys, no disrespect to you, straight honor, you know what I'm saying, respect for you choosing to do that. But what you guys have to do is realize that if you're doing this for a job, you got to find out who you are. And you don't have to, I put it like this. My nephew was entertaining the thought of, going into the military. So I told him straight up. So basically what you're doing is you're saying you're going to put your life online for a paycheck. Because that's what it's going to cost. When they make that call or press that button, you got to go. And you sign that contract to say that you're willing to give your life for this paycheck. That's all it is. You can ooh and ah and say what you want to say, but when you look at exactly what it is, and I definitely, please believe, I definitely understand why you feel it's necessary, why you go to war and what you're told, but understand this, overstand this, understand this. Why do you think boot camp exists? They got to break you down from the mindset that you have and mold you to where you are a puppet. You go like a dog. And shit, even damn Henry Kissinger, he said the U.S. military personnel are animals. That's why they wear dog tags. Look for yourself. Henry Kissinger. Guy, one of the officers, or I'm sure he has stock inside the Federal Reserve. The military are dogs. Think of that. These are the people that laugh at you. They point you out, tell you where to go, and you go attack for a paycheck. You put your life on the line. And then if everything was as it is, why are so many vets in the jacked up situations that they are when they get finished getting used? You know what I'm saying? Why? And then the ones that do go to war, they're suppressed from telling the truth of what actually happened. What I would urge people to do, look at the true story behind Pat Tillman. You know what I'm saying? He was given to us as the hero that was in the NFL, and he decided to go serve his country, and he got killed valiantly during war, but I don't even want to call it friendly fire. That's just what they call it, but literally it was nothing friendly about the fire that he received. It was on purpose. So again, Pat Tillman, research that. It's given to us as an American hero, as a tragedy, but when the brothers that are over there, and when I say brothers, I'm not putting a race or a color on it, and we all are one in my mind. So he's over there fighting, and check that out for yourself. So with the world being business, that's the purpose of the military. So when you don't want to follow or go along with what we put forth to you, we call them the big homies, calling the big guns. Here come the military. Everybody knows what happens when the United States is ready to roll out. The bullies on the block. So the world being business, understand, and I know that there's a thing called, well, not thing, the world is either you're a creditor or a debtor. You're a creditor or a debtor. So the creditors are the ones that own things. I mean, not even own things, the one that control. The debtors are the one that don't control. Creditors and debtors. Then we have creators, consumers. I'll call them movers and standstillers. Even knowers and believers. You know what I'm saying? Creators and creditors are the ones that are in control. You know, when you go to court, the debtors always lose. The creditors always win. Again, when you go to court, the creditors always win, the debtors always lose. The reason why the debtors always lose because the debtors don't even understand the process. They don't understand none of it. So you go to court and you're just a participant, not even knowing, realizing that, shit, you're the special guest. They're about to have a ball on your behalf. You know, they can beat you up, shake you up, turn you upside down, shake your money out your pocket and send you on your way and, you know what I'm saying, wait for you the next time. But that's the way it's structured. And I'm cool with knowing that. So again, so many things about court that nobody, unbelievable. Again, I shared just the word appear. They speak a different language in court, you know, legalese. When you get that correspondence and it said you must appear, you look at it as, okay, I got to show up because that's what when we use appear. But in law, when you appear, that means you're coming on behalf of accepting whatever's on this paper. So when you step in and you show, they call out a name and you step up, oh, shoot, okay, he's in agreement and you're not giving opposition. So that's what's called an assumption and a presumption. They don't need you to speak on it directly. They just assuming and presuming, by your action. So as they say, action speaks louder than words. Again, actions speak louder than words. People like to take that and deal with person to person, which is cool and understandable, but know that there's a far deeper meaning to that. And when you gain an understanding when it comes to court and law, actions speak louder than words. All right, so let me talk about. Let's go with entertainment. So entertainment serves one purpose: to take your mind off of yourself. Take your mind off of discovering yourself. Take your mind off of exploring the universe or anything else that's outside. That's beneficial to you. Again, sit your ass down, watch this TV. One thing that's going to break a lot of people's hearts, and I have no issue speaking on it, is sports. Sports is considered entertainment. When sports is considered, and when it was called competition, and please understand, these words are on purpose. It's not on accident. Sports didn't go from being competition to entertainment for nothing. So when it comes out that a lot of these games are rigged or fixed or participants are on the take, you can't get mad because it's entertainment. It's for your entertainment. We didn't say that it's competing. It's not a competition. It's not, we're not presenting it to you. We're packaging it as entertainment. So as long as it's entertainment, we're going to entertain you. Just like the movie, are you not entertained? So you can't say you're not entertained because they're doing a hell of a job entertaining you. You dedicate 2 to 4 to 6 hours on each weekend or whatever to watch entertainment, which is sports, rather than putting it into yourself. So you are being entertained. So again, that's you living life vicariously. And I'm not saying don't watch any sports, but please understand, and this is coming from somebody that all I knew was football. Sports. That was it. That was my topic of conversation. The way I'm speaking now, we sports. Working out, doing, that was it. But I'm not there anymore. I'm not in that space. And so within going this direction, came across information, straight documentation that proves it. The stuff is set up. There are people that's been in this way longer than me that outline the NBA Finals that year when Curry was hurt. And the guy did this in the beginning of the season. And all this is done by the stars. I mean, I'm not going to get too deep in it, but astrologically, the stars tell it all. And it was J.P. Morgan, I believe it was J.P. Morgan, said that millionaires do not use astrology. Billionaires do. Again, J.P. Morgan, millionaires do not use astrology. Billionaires do. Let that sink in. So that means that these stars tell you what's going on. But when you're in religion and church, come to the church. Don't worry about looking out around the environment. Come in this house. Make sure you drop some of that money off as well. Yeah, so sports being entertainment. That's what it is. So you're being entertained. So again, when the guy predicted what was going on, I saw this after the season. So I'm saying this is some years ago that I came across that information, but he outlined that, it's going to get to this point, and then Curry's going to come back, and then they're going to, LeBron along the way, they're going to have the game sevens. And then, and I'm like, what? And it was impactful to me because, looking at the data of the video, it was like, this was done months or even at the beginning of the playoffs or whatever it was done before everything was falling in place. And it straight up how he said it. And so to me, that was like, whoa. So then going with the NFL, and please believe, like I said, when it comes to football, I used to feel that was one sport that, how can you fix a football game? Too many people involved, too many moving parts and pieces and components, and it takes too much coordination. But no, it only takes a few at key positions. You don't have to, the whole team's not going to be on the take. So there's somebody that's truly going as hard as they can, but because somebody else is on the take, all that is for nothing. But the thing about it, you're getting paid to shut up. You're getting compensated. And I mean, and to feel that sports are not fixed. I mean, what is that? The White Sox, and I mean, just all through. What's his name? Tony, the referee. Tony Donahue, something to that degree. But the referee that came out and told it, oh, that was on purpose. That was to let you know that this stuff is going on behind the scenes. So we're going to beat him up, and for you to feel that he's the only one that's doing it, that's on you. That is sports. I mean, look, they got betting on TV, sports betting and books. And so, come on now, Vegas doesn't lose. So that's where all this ties to. The house always wins. And so they create the narratives and they put out these odds, and based off of how you bet, they already know the direction they're going. So they got like 2 to 3 options of which direction they're going to go, but they're all going to be all off of the stars. So you're betting, so they're betting, everybody's betting heavily on this team, but this team they're going to be under the radar because that's the one that you really need to be betting on because they're going to be the ones that win. But you're going with the one that's in front of your face all the time. Oh, yeah, they're great. Oh, my gosh, they're whooping everybody's ass. But this team underneath the radar, believe me, these people already know who's going to win. This is where the money is at. So everybody's dumping their money on this team over here, but by design, this team right here is going to do it. It happens. It happened. It's happening. It's going on. So, you know what I'm saying? With the entertainment, let's go to TV. You know what I'm saying? TV is just energy waster unless you're, absorbing something beneficial that you're using to build and help yourself, grow and just grow and build. Other than that, TV is just a waste of time. I mean, look at the non-reality shows. When I'm from the generation where that came up. I believe I was in high school when that became prevalent. When it first started. What was it, the Real World? I believe it was the first one I recall, and there's something else happened before that. But I'm gonna say the Real World, and it was just people living in the house, with no TV, just watching them interacting, and it evolved from that to, people get married online, competitions, ex-rappers getting to choose between X amount of fine females, and You know, then the female off of that show is having a show, and you know, I mean, just so many things that you're experiencing somebody else's life through their eyes or through the screen of the TV that you lose track of reality. You know what I'm saying? You feel that your life vicariously is improved by watching somebody else doing something or not doing something. So you can sit at the TV and ridicule somebody for doing something that you're not doing. Get your ass off the couch and you do it. Stop being entertained. Get involved with your life. I mean, what like the one show that's to me the one of the most ridiculous, and I'm not knocking the people that are on the show, but My 600-Pound Life was about, you know, that's just about, to me, people that watch that don't feel good about themselves. So to feel good about themselves, they're going to watch somebody else that's below them. It's an energetic thing, and be offended or not, how can you be entertained truly by watching the thing? Not even gonna go into detail with it, but that's myself. Whenever I see that show on somebody's TV, like I said, I don't judge. I just understand the psyche and how the mind works. When you have value within yourself, there's no need to tear down somebody else to make yourself feel better. That's law. So non-reality TV, and then like I said, it evolved to the point where you find out it's scripted, but your ass still sit there and watch it. You know what I'm saying? I can't even speak, you know, I stopped watching that stuff a long time, and I really wasn't a heavy watcher, but I'll check out, you know, some, you know, a couple of things from here to, you know, occasionally, but now that stuff, that's not nowhere on my radar. Like you said, when you focus on what you want, what you don't want disappears. I didn't want reality shows around me, so that disappeared. So, now with that being said, let's go to Hollywood. All right. The funny thing about Hollywood is, again, a lot of information that I don't speak on, and what I have, I didn't have the intention of going out to get that information. This came about me on my path, and the universe. Here, check this out, Keystone. Check this out. Add this to that. So when I found out about Hollywood, Hollywood came about from a lady in New York. She's Jewish, or whatever you want to call it. Her son or somebody in the family, it was a son or a nephew, came and got her, like, oh my gosh, you know, they just got to America and this is the greatest thing. So what it ended up being, they hurried to that location. What they ended up finding or experiencing was what is called a Nickelodeon. The Nickelodeon is, you know, that was the back in the day, the arcade, or what would be the version of you carrying around your own cell phone watching movies. So you went to this arcade, put in your nickel, and cartoons or pictures, you know, they flipped and they appeared to be in motion. So by that lady experiencing that, she was able to see the potential. And again, she's an immigrant coming in America in whatever city in New York. She was like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest business opportunity ever. And I'm sure you don't comprehend why. Not because of the Nickelodeon. The reason why is because she said this is a business where people will pay before they get their product. Off of her seeing the Nickelodeon, because you had to put your nickel in before you got to see the show. Off of her recognizing that you get your product after you pay. Wow. You talking about some foresight. And you wonder why certain people are able to do certain things, because they have visions. So whatever she used to do before she came to that point in time, it allowed her to be able to see potential off of a Nickelodeon. So once that was shown and how it became developed, introduced to some men, like I said, it's a group of people, and that group of people, they decided to take it out west, because if you know about New York, there's nowhere to build in New York. You know, the weather's horrible. To me, again, I'm speaking, you know, I'm sure people from New York, they love They love being in all concrete. They love being elbow to elbow, walking down the street and smelling different smells. But I would say with New York, I love the food and I love the shopping. But after a week, but again, you know what I'm saying, the foresight. She's able to see that Nickelodeon by you putting your nickel into the machine and then the machine giving you your product. Hollywood. And believe it or not, you can do the research, but again, this isn't anything I sought out. This is what came across me, and you know what I'm saying, going along with what I came with that information right there. I mean, then, you know what I'm saying? They created Hollywood. So then even with Hollywood being itself, people gotta accept, but you ain't gotta accept. But the reality is Hollywood is, again, when it's speaking, is witchcraft. It's you're casting out. So again, look at the names, the cast. So the cast meaning the characters that are part of the story or the movie or the show. So the cast are the ones that are shooting out the message. That's what the cast are. The cast are the ones that are sending out the spells, because the person that writes the script, the person that's writing the magic or writing the spell, he's not the person that's casting the spell. They have the cast. That's what they're for. So whatever the purpose of that reason of that show or whatever, they're the ones that's going to put it upon everybody that's listening. Accept it or reject it. I don't care. And then when you look again, go to TV, it's a broadcast. I mean, they're casting it out broadly. Again, they could have used any other words. They could have chose any other words to use, but they're telling you. So they're this cast. You know what I'm saying? The script. So the thing with Hollywood is that by it being heavily established through witchcraft and the energy, like I said, witchcraft, I'm not saying it's bad. Again, everything is one energy. And how you use that energy, how the energy is used determines whether it's beneficial or not. Again, it's only one energy. There's no such thing as a bad energy or a good energy. It's all how you use the energy or how you perceive the energy. So everything goes back to you. So with Hollywood being of spells, Hollywood, the holly tree, that's what the witches, you know, when you see them with their staff is made of Hollywood. Hollywood. Do your research if you choose. So Hollywood is established to bombard you with their messages, their programming. Whatever they want you to think, they're going to effing tell you. They're going to tell you what they want you to think. I mean, so just as far as copper colored people, I'm not going to refer to black. And so that's the other thing. You accept what these are labels. Black is a label. So everybody talking about Black Lives Matter, when you look at law, black means non-existent, doesn't exist. You know, it's colorable, a version of. So when you're saying Black Lives Matter, you're saying no lives matter. And you can attach yourself to it if you want to. Again, I don't give a damn. This is research yourself. When you go to court, or I mean, when you do your paperwork, are you black? Yes, I'm black. So by law, through the government, the way you're non-existent. So when you want to go deeper than black, you look at blanche, which is a version of bleach, meaning don't exist. So you can go around calling yourself black, you know what I'm saying? You black and you proud. Hey, outstanding. But what I would do is I resemble the color of copper. You see my shirt. There is no way that I'm the hue of this shirt. So I'm either going to refer to what is quote unquote black people as brown or copper. If I refer to somebody as white, I'm not talking about a race. I'm just for the sake of conversation. That's what I'm referring to. So yeah, I don't get into the silliness of calling races this and that and they're this. If that's what you choose and that's how you choose to look at things, then hey, the best for you. But by, you know what I'm saying, running around calling yourself black. So with the copper colored people, so from the 50s, you know, it was a lot of empowerment, you know, owning businesses, establishing your own economy. And that's truly what the establishment do not want. They do not want copper people or anybody of another group to establish their own economy, which will eventually make them self-sufficient where they don't need assistance from the government. Please accept that. You don't have to, but that's what it is. So with, again, Hollywood doing what Hollywood does, they're going to tell you basically what it is. The American dream came from the Jewish people. They created Hollywood. So everything from the movies is from the perspective of them. So an interesting thing before I get back to the brown community is that early TV, all of the actors are Jewish. You know what I'm saying? So by the time I was at an age when I got introduced to George Burns, I got to see George Burns as a young man. I got to see that the Three Stooges were Jewish. All the actors, and you know, they changed their names, but so then within that, because they play the role of the victim, but again, go through the history. Do not go from what's been in your damn books, what you've been told. Do not. If you do, best wishes. But they changed the names, and so what became the American dream, or it became from the American dream from their perspective. And so the dream that they gave us is a nightmare. So with that being said, when it got to brown people being represented in Hollywood, because if you get to a certain point, the only thing that a brown person or copper person would be on TV, and damn near I could call them black, because there wasn't going to be anybody light skinned. They're going to have the darkest representation of what they call black. And so when it got to the 50s and 60s, you know, so going from, you know, economics, establishing economics and you know, building, oh no, we can't have this. So this is what we need to do. So now comes to the exploitation. So basically what we're going to do, we're going to stereotype. We're going to take the silliest version of the smallest representation of this people, and this is what we're going to magnify as the thing to be. So think about that. Within the brown community, yeah, there are pimps, there are gangsters, there are hoes. But there are also business owners, you know, families, so on and so forth. But what they've done is they went to the bottom of the representation that represented the smallest amount of people as far as numbers, and they put a damn magnifying glass on that times a million. And now that's the thing to be. So in the 70s, you know, you wanted to be the gangster, you wanted to be the dope dealer, you wanted to be the pimp, you wanted to be the hoe because the hoe got the fly boa around her neck and, you know, the go-go boots and jewelry. And same thing with the fellas, you know, they got the gold chains and they got the hat with the peacock feather and the wide brim, the 4-inch white wall tires and spokes and everything. So rather than taking the better representation of a people on the whole, they take the lowest. And now, by this being in your face every day, all day, and you're even paying money to go see this, and by it being on a big screen, that means it's bigger than life and bigger than you. So by you being small and influenced by this big thing, that's what you attain and you aspire to be. You want to be like that big thing. So now you want to be Superfly. You want to be this, you want to be that. And let alone, they got it beaten into your head on the TV, on these TV shows. So by the time you get from the 60s and the 70s, you get to the 80s. Now it's the version of the gangster, you know, the gangbanger. And so this is the generation I came up in. So then they got the music to go with it. And so now they got a package deal. They got the movies and they got the music. And all of it's geared toward this. Accepted or rejected. So what I'm saying is that these particular people are telling you who you are. You again, accepted or rejected. Again, these people are telling you who you are. Since you don't know you, you're going to accept their version of it. As of what's going on right now with this election stuff. You know what I'm saying? The man straight up said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. You ain't black. That's the guy that, you know, the 3 strikes bill, you know what I'm saying? He's the one that co-wrote the the Patriot Act, and everybody knows about the Patriot Act, but because the TV got so much damn control over your mind, these are things that fly over your head, or you perceive them as being insignificant because of the bombardment and the attack on you being able to think on your own. Again, we don't need you to think. We just need you to watch this TV and the rest will handle itself. Imagine that. 1974, they not copyright, they got a patent on being able to send subliminal messages through the TV screen to fuck into your head. But you don't know that. You sit in front of your TV, you go to sleep with the TV. They have a patent to allow to willingly and knowingly, intentionally put subliminal messages and have them digitized and put out to you. But I'm sure you don't believe that. I just pulled that out my backside. It's on you. So, man, you know what I'm saying, sticking on entertainment, let's get to this music. Okay, generation I come up in, I come from the hip hop, rap, but hip hop, and then it became rap, and now I don't know what it's called now. Horrible, but not knocking anybody that's doing it, but from the generation I came up in leading to this, it can't be disputed. Even the younger guys, when they hear old school music or old school rap, well, I'm just gonna say music in general is better. Just like myself, when I was younger, I remember when, I think I may have said it before, but James Brown. So I remember, what song was it? It was the beat for the Big Payback. That boom, 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 boom. So that bass line, you know what I'm saying? So back in the day, a lot of rappers used it. And so when I first heard it with James Brown, I remember being with my mom saying, "Oh, James Brown took that song." My mom like what? What are you talking about? Yeah, James Brown took that beat. So, you know what I'm saying? So once I knew that, you know what I'm saying? So I know everything influences, but what's going on right now is no homage. You know what I'm saying? That you don't worship, but you at least respect what came before you, because what didn't come before you didn't happen, you damn sure wouldn't have it exactly how you have right now. So again, just touching on that. And so to me, the quality of rap music or whatever, not to even rock, you know what I'm saying? I come up from the generation of when MTV was established. You know what I'm saying? So old 80s rock, you have to know it. Anybody from my generation that watch MTV, shit, put on some John Cougar Mellencamp. we can go. But that's just what it was. So with, just touching on that, but what needs to be heard is what they do to that music before it's released to you. Again, what needs to be heard is what they do to that music before it's released to you. Again, Hollywood is established off of witchcraft, casting spells. Again, Hollywood is the wood of the holly tree. Hollywood is in your favorite song, Deck the Halls with Balls of Holly. It's everywhere. You don't have a clue. You're celebrating your captivity. That's why you're participating in it. So what happens with music? Once a record is cut and is mastered, you know what I'm saying, before they start pressing copies or did whatever they do with it before it's distributed, again, once music is is mastered and it's ready to be cut or, copied or distributed, they do rituals over it. They cast spells over it. They want this music to infiltrate all kind of homes and people and get into them and take over. Again, if you don't believe it, it's on you. So basically, rapping, or not even wrapping it up, but basically everything what I'm talking about today is just a system, just an example of how intricate everything is that you are involved in personally and you invest yourself in intentionally, emotionally, that is for your detriment until you decide to put you number one. Again, until you put you number one, you're participating in your own death. That's the purpose of reverse engineering your destiny, by being able to know and then put in action. That changes the game. That changes the aim. How can it not? That's empowering to know that all of this is BS and I don't have to participate. And by me not participating, that's going to allow me to know me more. It's going to allow me to help somebody else more, because once I get out of my way, ain't nothing going to stop me. Once you get out of your way, ain't nothing going to stop you. Except for one thing. What's rule number one? It's all mental. Again, I'm Keystone. I'm a synthesizer of energy, frequencies, and information that generates increases of consciousness, self-awareness, and self-love. For those who do not know who they are or the power they possess, this is Code Red, and yes, the shirt. Change your mind to change your reality, because if you never change your mind, where you are is where you're going to be. Thank you for your time and the exchange of energy. Enjoy your day. Oh, that ended perfect.